Welcome back to the Savage Nation. This is Jeff Kuhner from the Washington Times sitting in for Michael Savage. 1-800-449-8255 is the number. You know, I look at Democratic National Committee Chair Debbie Wasserman Schultz, and I ask myself, how does somebody like her get to be the head of the DNC? Seriously. I look at her, and I'm telling you, I say to myself, every time I see her on television, she was born in the wrong era and in the wrong country, serving the wrong regime. She would be perfect under Stalin's regime. I can just see her as the spokesperson for Stalin's regime. We're going to bury capitalism. Our industrial production is at 550%. We're having so much prosperity here. There's so much wheat. There's so much industry. There's so much economic growth. We're expanding daily. America's days are numbered. I look at her and I see a Stalinist slash hack. That's what I see. I see a Stalinist hack or a North Korean hack. In fact, I was telling this to some of the guys, the producers, before we got on the air. Debbie Wasserman Schultz, Congresswoman from Florida, reminds me of that spokesman. Do you remember back in 2003 when we invaded Iraq and our boys were literally pouring into Baghdad? We had it encircled. They were moving in. They were marching in towards downtown Baghdad. And they had, I forget his name now. They had this, what is it again, Jesse? Baghdad Bob. Baghdad Bob came out, and he was the spokesman for Saddam Hussein. And he would come out and say, we have the infidels on the run. We have the infidels on the run. America is going to be smashed. We are beating America everywhere. America is losing the war. And the journalists are looking at him in utter disbelief, saying, just down the block. The Yanks are right down the block. The tanks are right there. You're going to fall in a day or two. No. We have the infidels on the run. We have the infidels on the run. That should have been Debbie Wasserman Schultz's position. She missed her true calling. She should have been a flak for Saddam Hussein. I'm telling you. Here is Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Check this out. The jobs report comes out. 80,000 jobs in June. 69,000 jobs before that in the month of May. Last quarter, dismal job creation. We're going backwards, not forward. 8.2% unemployment. Real unemployment, 15%. We're stuck in the mud. The economy is at a standstill. Now, she goes on Fox News Sunday. She's on with this anchor called John Roberts, replacing Chris Wallace. So Roberts says, you want to keep spending? You want to keep all the deficits? You want to keep taxing? It hasn't worked for 3.5 years. Look at these job numbers. You know, the definition of insanity is to keep doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Here's Roberts interviewing Wasserman Schultz, and look at her response. Boys, roll it.
So then is the suggestion that we should just keep doing the same thing? You know, there's that old definition of doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result.
What we should do, I'm pretty happy about 28 straight months of job growth in the private sector.
Are you happy about 80,000 jobs last month?
Hold on a second, John.
69 the month before that? Are you happy with those numbers?
Like I've said, we and President Obama has said, we need to continue to improve, and we need to do more, and we need to work together.
She's happy. She's happy. She's happy with this job growth in the private sector. Hey, according to their leader a couple months ago, you remember that? The private sector is doing just fine. Everything's fine. What are people complaining about? It's hunky-dory out there. This is now a new dawn, a new beginning in America, according to Debbie Wasserman Schultz and Barack Hussein Obama. Do you think the country is worse or better off under Obama? 1-800-449-8255 is the number. I want to hear from you. Larry in Sacramento, thanks for holding. You're on the Savage Nation.
You're a great fill-in for Michael. And
thank you, Larry.
Trickle-down tyranny. And you're absolutely right. My friends and relatives here in the Sacramento area are having a hell of a time surviving. There's no improvement in the economy, and I think we elected a communist member. I don't think there's any doubt about it.
Larry, you're dead on, and let me tell you how I know he's a communist. First of all, I think Savage has unmasked him brilliantly, okay? But here's how I know he's a communist. Several years ago, I interviewed some of his former colleagues and fellow students when he was at university at Columbia. And they openly said to me, both at Occidental College and at Columbia, he was part of a Marxist-Leninist group. And as part of that group, he kept telling everybody a Marxist revolution must come to America. But the way to achieve it, he said, is by nationalizing health care. That is the key, he said, because then the people will be dependent upon government for their health care. And once you own their body, once you own what kind of care they can get or their family can get or their children can get, then you own them in everything else. And that's why he spent the first year and a half. Think about it. We were in the midst of a severe recession. It was called the Great Recession. It was after Bush left. We were reeling. Lehman Brothers had collapsed. The whole stock market was on the verge of crashing. We thought this was going to be 20, 25, 30% unemployment. What does Obama do? He wastes a year and a half. Rahm Emanuel is even telling him, what are you doing spending a year and a half on health care? It's why Rahm Emanuel left. Even Rahm Emanuel, that thug, that Clintonista, that political gangster said, let me go to Chicagoland. These guys are crazy. They're really crazy. They're even more left-wing than Clinton, if that's possible. He didn't focus on the economy. He focused on health care because that was his plan from the beginning. And let me tell you who Barack Obama truly is. I think many on the right give him too much credit. I really do. I believe he is nothing more than a pawn, than a shill for George Soros. He's like an actor. That's why he loves Hollywood so much. He's like a Hollywood actor. George Soros says jump, and he says how high. He's like the director. Soros is like the director. These are your lines, and this is what you're going to say. So you're going to nationalize healthcare. You're going to take over the banking industry and the financial markets through Dodd-Frank. You're going to give amnesty to illegal immigrants, and you're going to spend this economy and this country into the ground. Because I want America to be like Europe. That's what I want. I want to break the back of America, and I'm going to make my fortune, more billions, upon the destruction of America. And he's the one that funds the Democratic Party. Soros is the sugar daddy of the Democratic Party. When he calls, Obama picks up the phone right away. I don't care who's with him. Putin can be in front of him. It doesn't matter. Pelosi can be in front of him. Reid can be in front of him. Soros calls, he picks up that phone right away. Yes, Georgie. What do you want me to do now, Georgie? What's next, Georgie? We support Occupy Wall Street? Okay, we support Occupy Wall Street. You got it, Georgie. That's Obama. And that's George Soros. And that's why I believe that Obama is now determined to win a second term because he knows he is on the cusp of history. He can taste it. He wins re-election, and it is the end of America as we know it. And it'll be a victory for him, for the New World Order, and for George Soros. 1-800-449-8255.